Welcome to the Bibbidi Bobbidi Basics podcast, a lifestyle podcast with a magical twist. I'm your host, Caitlin May, and I'm a self-proclaimed Disney adult and childless millennial who is obsessed with Harry Potter, Florida sunshine, and all things basic. Here on the podcast, I chat weekly about everything Disney, Harry Potter, theme park news, and navigating my basic late 20s life. Hello, Magical Basics. Welcome back to this month's episode. Today's episode, I'm hoping is like my favorite episode ever. I think it's going to be hilarious.
I think it's going to end our relationship.
I think it's going to be hilarious. So if you couldn't tell by the title today, we are reading all of your Disney hot takes, and I'm very excited. So let's get into the episode. First, we're going to start off by shouting out our Basic of the Month. If you would like to be Basic of the Month, you need to follow the podcast Instagram and be sure to listen to our show. And this month's Basic is ear, like ear, Mickey Mouse ear, to there with Mariana. So thank you so much, Mariana, for supporting our show. And let's get into today's episode. Okay. Thanks for coming back on the show.
You act like I have a choice.
Ah! Rude. You're feeling sassy today.
It is what it is.
Everybody loves you, and the only thing that I ever hear on episodes that you're on is like, this is my favorite episode. We love Jon. Ha ha ha. So now I feel like I have to have you on every episode because you're the fan favorite.
I really dislike editing myself.
Oh, I get that.
It is not a pleasure.
I get that. Okay, well, we're doing Disney hot takes today.
Love it.
So I think to start off, we should alternate ours.
Are we doing normal intro things or just hot takes, like Sorens and Splashes?
Oh, we could do Sorens and Splashes if you want. That's a great idea.
Wasn't sure.
I didn't have any
Yeah, me neither.
Let's see. What would be our Soren and Splash for the month of January? Let me think.
For the month, the Soren was New York. Going to New York City was
so true.
so much fun.
Yes, I agree with that. We saw Funny Girl.
Twice.
But we mainly went for that because I was dying to see Leah Michele and Ramin Krimlo in that show. They're two of my favorites. And then we saw Mike Birbiglia, and then we saw Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. So if you want like a New York Broadway episode, let us know because I think that would be really fun. Splash for this month. Can we even call it Splash anymore?
Oh,
Splash
no.
Mountain is dead.
What's it called now?
Tiana's Bayou Adventure. That does not.
Oh yeah, we can't say this month's Bayou. Or we could and just make it a thing because that's kind of funny.
That is kind of cute. Let us know. Should we still call it Splash? Or should we change it? Or
my splash was actually going down Splash
Jon,
for the last time.
Jon does not like log flume rides.
No, it was not fun. The picture of me is amazing, screaming my brains out down that last
Picture is amazing.
drop.
Oh, I don't know what my splash would be. I feel like we had a pretty good month.
It's been pretty good. It's been busy.
Yeah.
I got a cold. That would be mine. I got sick. Did too much Disney. Got a cold.
Yeah.
It was very cold outside, and it was a lot of days there. So
We have had a lot of cold weather recently. I don't think I have a splash for the month. January was pretty good.
must be nice.
Pretty good start to the year. So, yes. Any other housekeeping things?
No, that was it. I just remembered that
No,
was a thing we used to do.
No, yeah, I'm glad you did that because I feel like I'm still trying to find my rhythm in this monthly schedule instead of.
You had a lot of wins. Like your your ears and your mug that you found at the parks.
Oh my gosh, yes. I found the new Little Mermaid ears, which are right behind me. I had to showcase them. And then yesterday, I finally found the Anastasia mug that I've been tracking literally forever. So when this episode goes out, it's February 1st, which is not too far away from when we're recording. So if you're an Orlando local and you want the Anastasia mug, Caribbean Beach Resort was literally fully stocked. So I'm wondering if that's like the only stock left that they have on property, and like no one thinks Caribbean Beach is gonna have it, so that's why it is fully stocked. But if you're a local, go to Caribbean Beach. They had a ton. And I haven't seen the pin since I got the pin. I have not found it, so I don't know where that would be, if there even is stock left of the Anastasia pin.
Disney, if you're listening, there is a market for all of this content. We want more representation.
There's a market for Anastasia for sure. The fact that like my age group who grew up with it, and the fact that they've since acquired the rights to that production. I think it was 20th Century Fox, I think is what it was.
Probably.
But now that because isn't that who did Titanic? Because Disney has like a ton of Titanic anniversary merch on Shop Disney right now. So there's a market for that for sure. Anastasia needs more representation in the park, because if she counts as a Disney princess now, my ranking system needs a revision, because I loved her. I still love her. Her music slaps. So yeah, it's been a good January.
Amazing.
I know. I love that for us. I mean, honestly, it's been a good January for you too, if the only downside you can think of is getting sick.
Yeah, it was that, and then this next week I have to go on a client trip that I'm dreading, but that's it. That was the bad stuff.
But I get to stay home by myself and watch Emily in Paris and eat sushi, so I'm a little looking forward to it.
Must be nice.
Hello, Magical Basics. Have you been thinking about starting your own podcast, but you don't know where to begin? I completely understand, because when Bibbidi Bobbidi Basics first launched, I felt the exact same way. Honestly, thank goodness that I had Anchor to help me. So, if you've never heard of Anchor, it is the easiest way to make a podcast. I know what you're thinking. Katie, is it really that easy? Oh, it is. So let me tell you how. First, it's completely free. We love that. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And then Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and so many more platforms. You can even make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's literally everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you so much to Anchor for sponsoring this portion of today's episode. Jonathan and I came up with our own personal Disney hot takes, and then I took to Instagram on my personal and the podcast Instagram and asked what you guys have as Disney hot takes. So if you're not following me on my personal or the pod at all, you need to, because sometimes I do these little activities so you guys can be more involved with the episodes. I think that's a lot more fun, that we're all working together as a community, instead of just me and Jonathan sometimes up here just doing whatever we want. So I think we should alternate. Like, I'll say one and then we react, and then you say one and get through ours that way. And then I can rattle off the list of our listeners' hot takes, and we can kind of react accordingly.
Okay.
Good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you want to go first or me?
How many do you have?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Okay, so we're gonna do like maybe 2 of yours and 1 of mine because I have 5.
Okay.
Yep. So
I
you
can do
start.
that.
Yep.
Okay. Some you will definitely not agree with.
Okay.
I didn't think I had a lot of Disney hot takes, and then when I started like scripting this out and actually reading the responses I got on Instagram, I was like, oh, this is mine. All right. First one first. I'm starting off with a whammy. Walt Disney World Space Mountain is not fun and it needs an update.
I would have fought you a little bit, except for this last trip. I got so jostled, I thought I needed to go to the chiropractor afterwards, and like I had a headache, and it was very unpleasant. So I would agree, Space Mountain. Maybe your time has come.
I mean, we
For an
don't
upgrade.
have to get rid of it
Yeah,
completely.
it could still be Space Mountain, but like
It just, here's the thing. Like, the roller coaster itself is not scary, but like the noises that old roller coaster makes is what is scary about Space Mountain. Because I'm like, this thing is rickety AF. Like, it's gonna fall.
and it's over 50 years old because they just celebrated the 50th, and it was definitely built in advance.
And I understand that they do routine maintenance. I don't want you guys to think that
Yeah, I don't
I'm
think I'm
not
gonna
saying
die
that.
on it.
No, I do not think that it is like dangerous. But at the same time, I'm like, this ride sucks. And I don't know why people are like, yes, let's go on Space
Well, I
Mountain.
think too, all you can think about when you're on it is the ride mechanism because you can't really see anything. Unlike a lot of the other rides that might be,
It's not like
Big
visually
Thunder.
stimulating.
Yeah, Big Thunder. You also are on a more rickety track, but it's supposed to be like it's part of the ride, and you're looking at all the other stuff that's going on around you. Versus that, you're just plummeting through pitch black with those sounds and getting jostled right and left.
Yeah. So that's my number one. This second one is actually the like hot take that started it all because I put this on TikTok because everybody was like weeping over the loss of Splash Mountain. And I put on TikTok, Splash Mountain needed to go. I did not like it. I don't understand why people are like mourning this ride. And Tiana's going to make it so much better. So that's my second one, is that I literally, in my TikTok, to quote my TikTok, I could not give two shits about Splash Mountain.
Yeah. Because I don't care about the story of it, so I didn't grow up. Well, I mean, I know who those characters are because I used to read books that they were characters in a long time ago. But like, I don't care about any of the story of it.
No, and like, I feel like even if you did care about the story, like, let's put all the racial things aside. For being a like predominantly story ride through, you could not follow the story in that ride.
No.
Like, I did not know what was going on. Like, one minute we're looking at like the fox and the bear. Is it a fox? Bar fox. I don't know. Whatever. That goes to show you how much I like literally care about this ride. It goes from them like being like, oh, we're gonna get the little rabbit, and then the next minute you're like plummeting down the first two drops, and then it's like, ha ha ha, laughing place, and you're like, what the heck is a laughing place? And then you do the big drop, and then it's like, yippee, and then it's done. Like, what did I just even, it was like a fever dream. What did I even just experience? Like,
Yeah, it's a wild one.
yeah, so.
And it's not even the wildest ride in the wilderness, so.
Adios, Splash Mountain. Not gonna miss ya. Excited for Tiana. That's a whole other soapbox, though. She deserves everything. We stan her. It's gonna be so much better.
It was a good one. That'll be great.
Yeah.
All right.
No RIP to Splash Mountain.
Well, my next one kind of transitions from the racial things.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Start off real strong here.
It's like a two-parter.
Okay.
One, I'm kind of surprised that Peter Pan has not been talked about for the racial things. But the indigenous representation?
Well, yeah, Disney Plus definitely has like one of those little like disclaimers when you watch it on the platform, like this contains slurs.
It's the longest line consistently, other than Mine Train at Disney World, Magic Kingdom, is Peter Pan.
There's a lot of talk about, like, in the Disney community, just in general, of basically like what you're saying, like, why is this still, like, why is there no talks of like updating or, I don't think they'd ever get rid of it. I think they would.
But that's not
update.
That's not my hot take part of it. I just think we should probably talk about that. My hot take is that in that film, leaving the kids in the custody of the dog was maybe child abuse, and also maybe animal abuse, because they like punished the dog for doing a bad job.
It's true.
And I
You're
think
not wrong.
we're not talking enough
Justice
about
for
that.
Nana.
Justice for Nana. I was shook. I only saw it recently for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And I got to the end and I was like, okay, I always knew about like the Peter Pan and the magic and the Tinkerbell and the flying and Neverland and all that fun stuff. But like a huge plot point is that Nana is in charge and is failing miserably, and the parents are just like gallivanting.
And she's just trying her hardest. She's just trying to do right by the darling kids, and she's working on limited resources here.
Yep. So
I agree with that.
Okay.
I'd say we're pretty collective on that. Okay, my next one. Snow White and Cinderella are the most boring princesses. And I'm not even counting Sleeping Beauty because that's a given because she's like asleep for half of her movie. But literally Snow White and Cinderella have like zero redeeming qualities for me, and I could leave them, honestly.
I have never actually seen Snow White. It was in the vault when I was trying to see it, and I could not find it anywhere. Have seen Cinderella once. Don't care to see it again.
She is literally like a wet cardboard box.
I think that Disney...
She's also 14, and like when I was 14, I too was a wet cardboard box, but...
But they were the early like figuring princess out movies.
Yeah.
And then by the 90s, they were like, we're kind of getting in our groove.
Yeah.
And then lately, I think they've just perfected the formula.
Yeah.
Like for me, Tangled and Moana are two of the most solid, just like true princess stories. Yeah. So they had to come for us to get what we have now, but I don't need to watch them.
Yeah, I literally could take or leave them. Like, I do not care about them. Seven Dwarf is a fun ride, though. Mm-hmm. Like, I'll do that, but
that's just for the dwarves.
If people are like...
It's not for the princess.
If people are like, let's go meet Cinderella, I'm like, ew. No, why would we do that? Except her restaurant in the castle does slap. The food is really good. So, next. I have gotten hate in the past for this. So I expect to ruffle a lot of feathers.
We're going to get canceled after this.
We are. People are going to hate me. The live action remakes are not good, and Maleficent is the absolute worst of them.
I agree that they're not good. I don't think I would agree that that's the worst.
Really? Okay, let me rephrase that. Maleficent was the one I was most disappointed with.
Okay.
I wanted her to be pure evil. And the fact that she had redeeming qualities made me mad. No, but like seriously, like growing up, she was the most terrifying villain. And like I just wanted a story of like just pure evil.
Yeah. Well, this is the era of like villains getting their own films, and the only way Hollywood knows how to do that is to give them some redemptive arc. Like your Jokers and your...
Yeah, I guess.
Even Batman's kind of a villain, but that's a hot take for another day. Whew.
No. Robert Pattinson's at least isn't.
No. But like Batman, we don't need to talk about this one today. DC is not even remotely...
We just do a whole DC episode. Actually, I really couldn't because I don't know a lot about that universe. Because it's not good. Anyway.
Well, that's a good transition for my next one.
Okay.
DC to Marvel. My hot take is that every Marvel film that's been created is good, whether it's good or not.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
I think that people get way too in the weeds about like critiquing the Marvel Cinematic Universe on like a purely objective film level.
Yeah.
And that's not
I
how you should look at those. They're all fun and they all tell a really cool story and they're all connected together. And I love every single one of them, even the ones that I don't want to rewatch all the time.
Yeah, honestly, I would say yes to that and add that includes like any content that they make about it, like the series included, because there's been a lot of hate around a majority of their series. Like people hated She-Hulk. And I'm
Well,
like,
that's
okay,
because
but
it
you
was
did not understand.
woke.
Well, or like they hated the like office-ness about it, like the talking heads or the fact that it kind of like broke the fourth wall a lot. And I would agree with you. I think people who take superhero content too seriously are missing the point of like consuming superhero content.
Yep.
Like people who hated Thor Love and Thunder, I think that's the best example of the point you're trying to make, is that like this Taika Waititi is so known for like his fun, youthful like humor and storylines and the way that he tells stories. And everybody who's like, ew, Thor Love and Thunder was like so stupid. I'm like, okay, then you totally missed it. Like the whole point was to like have this super fun film and like like usher Thor into like this next phase of his life.
I think that the reason that the MCU works so well is the multiverse story. Because every film can have its own tone and its own like world building, and they're all equally valid because it's all part of the multiverse.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really cool thing because they can be so wildly different in tone, and you can connect so differently with the characters. Like you can have the really emotional experiences with the Iron Man story from kind of the phase 1, but then you can just have like stupid fun with Thor Love and Thunder. Like they're very different films. You watch them for very different reasons.
I would say that the only film that is the exception to the point that we're making is the Edward Norton Hulk.
I don't count that as part of the MCU.
Okay.
I'm like anything before 2010 is dead to me.
Okay. Which is probably in and of itself a hot take.
Yeah, we'll give that another hot take.
Yeah, it's like a Russian nesting doll of MCU hot takes.
Everything after 2010 I accept as canon. Anything before 2010 never happened.
All right.
It was part of another multiverse.
My next two. The Brave movie is boring, but Merida slaps and is one of the best princesses.
I agree. I don't think that it was boring, and I did really like. I've seen it a few times. I saw it in theaters. It just does not hit the same way that a lot of the other ones do, and I don't know what specifically about it does
because
it.
The themes, I'm like yes, but when I'm watching the movie, I'm like
yeah. Her as a character, solid.
Yeah,
I think there's just something missing in that story, just in the way that it's told that doesn't keep me going back. Like I don't rewatch it all the time.
Yeah.
But I would, like if someone had it on, I would not
watch
be mad.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Frozen 2 is way better than Frozen.
Hands down. 100%. Anyone who thinks Frozen 1 is better.
You can't tell me that it is not better than Frozen.
Like objectively better.
Like the music better, the storyline better, the new characters that they added, amazing. The fact that the animation, the fact that they actually like did a lot more consultation with like Nordic, like indigenous Nordic people. It's better. I'm sorry.
It's better.
It is what it is. All right, you?
I don't have a transition this time.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
We didn't plan this well. My next one is about, what I would call the best trilogy of all time.
High School Musical.
Which is High School Musical, but that's a hot take in and of itself. The take is that Sharpay is the actual, like, hero of that story.
Yes.
And was done dirty by the whole crew, and Gabriella
Yes.
is the absolute worst and destroyed Troy's entire like chances of doing all the things that he wanted to do with his life.
I have no qualms about that.
And Gabriella can't sing.
Yeah. I mean, no offense, Vanessa Hudgens, but
Well,
we oh, okay.
I said Gabriella can't sing. Vanessa Hudgens can do whatever she wants.
I agree. Sharpay was the victim.
Yep. She always knew what she wanted. She was always pushing Troy to be better. And as someone who was like a theater kid, if all of the jocks just like showed up one day and were like, this is our thing too, I'd have been like,
I would lose my mind.
You're kidding. Like, you have so much. You have so much already.
Why are you trying to take this away from us?
Don't take this from me.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
Completely agree. You will hear no...
Also, when the Scholastic Decathlon, the big game, and the auditions all happen on the same day, the answer is not to destroy 2 out of 3 of those.
Yeah, true. The answer is prioritize what's most important to you and go with that one.
Like, if you really want to do theater, go to the audition. Otherwise, do the other things.
Yes. Yep.
So.
No, I have no disagreement with you on that. Sharpay is my ride or die.
Also,
truly.
I don't know if this is a hot take, but I would say High School Musical 2 is the best of the 3.
Also correct.
Cool. Good
also
talk.
Correct. I mean, so far, we have not gotten a divorce yet.
No, I think it's just the last one.
Oh, no. Okay. Magic Kingdom has the worst food out of all 4 parks.
Preach. Why? Why can't you have better food? The spring rolls are the only redemptive quality. Well, and I like the corn dog nuggets, but those are not healthy.
I don't even think I'm counting the sit-down restaurants in this. Like, I think just as someone who goes to the park and is like, oh, I'm just here to, like, ride the rides, have a full Disney day, I'm just gonna eat quick service, like, the food sucks. The hamburger spring rolls are probably the best quick service out of the whole park. And they're not even reliable. Yeah. Like, you can't even get them all the time.
I like the pastrami better, but those are limited.
Yeah.
For the 50th.
The corn dog nugs are good, but they are not healthy at all.
No.
Which brings up another point. Like, if you're trying to be healthy, and I know people are going to be like, if you're going to Disney, are you really being healthy? But, like, for someone who lives here and goes often, like, I don't want to fuel on corn dog nugs all the time.
But
or
every other park has healthy options. Like, even on the app, if you're trying to order a kid's meal, which I do a lot, the other parks are like, you can't even get a side of fries unless you like dig in the settings. It's always like a salad and an orange or something is your options, and a water is always your default drink for kids meals. So like all the other parks are trying to be healthy, and then you go to Magic Kingdom and they're like, here's all this greasy food.
Yeah.
And sodas.
And I feel like there's a lack of variety too.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, Pinocchio's has pizza. Then you have Pecos Bill, which Pecos Bill is a whole hot take in and of itself. And then Cosmic Race. Like, you have other food stalls that are like snacky, like Friar Nook's. You can get some snacks. Gaston's Tavern, you can get snacks. And then you have Casey's as well. But like, that's only like, if you don't like hot dogs, then you're out of luck. Because there's not even alternatives there. So yeah, it's the worst park to eat. And like I said, I'm not counting Be Our Guest because that's an amazing restaurant. Sure. The food at Crystal Palace is amazing. The food at Cinderella's Royal Table is amazing.
But those are places that you're lucky to get into.
Right. And like the average family doesn't necessarily have the budget to go eat a prefix 5-course meal at Be Our Guest restaurant, you know? Nor should you probably eat the whole entire buffet at Crystal Palace when you're going to go ride all the thrill rides afterwards.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm very passionate about this. Coco is better than Encanto.
Ooh, that one's brutal. How much better?
Leaps and bounds. Encanto is not bad by any means, but like I watched it once and I was like, okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was weeping, but
I was gonna say I remember us being emotional.
No, yeah, I was. Like I'm saying, don't get me wrong. I am not saying that Encanto is bad, but Coco is better.
I won't fight you on it.
Better storyline. 1,000%. I think what happened for me is the whole concept of like Mirabelle being like her own gift kind of like fell flat for me at the end.
I don't remember the end of the movie, apparently. So there it
And
is.
that just proves my point even more. I just think the music's better. I think the overall story is better.
Okay.
Surface Pressure, great song. Lin-Manuel Miranda's music, amazing, great. Obviously, he's super talented, but I just think Coco's better.
Okay. I won't fight.
I
think if I was going to rank them, I would say objectively Coco is like a better film, but I would be faster to rewatch Encanto because I don't want to cry.
No, I'd rather cry at Coco. I'm gonna cry at both, so I'd rather cry at Coco.
Gotcha.
My next one is in two parts. The first one will get a lot of hate. So if we're friends and this makes you not want to be my friend anymore, I'm so sorry. I don't even want to say it because I know people are gonna come for me. The Lion King is overrated.
Well, shut everything down. It's
I'm
all
sorry,
over.
it's not bad. It's just overrated.
So here's the second follow-up hot take. Am I gonna guess it?
Yes.
Lion King 1.5 is the only Lion King worth watching.
Lion King 1.5 is the best Lion King.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
This is probably why we're married. We have all the same hot takes.
It's true. I mean, Lion King is literally Hamlet, but with lions. Like, yes, the music is amazing, but
you want to know something?
There's a hot take that one of the listeners brought in, so I'm not gonna steal their thunder, but their hot take is 1,000% correct. But yeah.
I saw Lion King once when I was 3, and I don't think I've seen it since.
That just goes to show you. I'm sorry. I know people are going to be so mad. I'm so sorry.
But the Lion King show at Animal Kingdom.
Correct.
Great.
Correct.
So much fun.
Correct. All right, my next one. Dole Whip is not that good.
We had a place in Springfield called Pineapple Whip, and it's just Pineapple Whip.
Pineapple Whip is better, I would say.
And I've never had Dole Whip at Disney, but
the only Dole Whip that I loved was not this Christmas, but Christmas 2021. Was it 2021?
Yeah.
Had the chai tea with the pistachio Dole Whip and that chocolate cake pop. That was amazing, and I wish it was not seasonal. Actually, I can't even say it was seasonal because they didn't bring it back this Christmas. But that is and the Peter Pan hat. Those were my two favorite Dole Whips, and of course, neither of them exist anymore. Dole Whip is not that good. All right, last one. You already know it, but we will probably get a divorce over this. I don't get the Dak hype. I don't. I really don't.
Like, is there Dak hype?
Yes. So many people are like, Animal Kingdom is my favorite park. And I'm like, can't relate. I love zoos. But I'm like, this is just a glorified zoo. This is a glorified Disney zoo. And for families who are like struggling to take their kids on a Disney vacation because it's so freaking expensive, I'm like, skip Dak. You can see giraffes at the Audubon Zoo in New Orleans. Like,
yeah. No, for the reason that I say it's my personal favorite park is because it is the place that I feel the most peaceful at as someone who is an introvert and struggles with crowds.
That's fair.
it is nice to be around
What a lovely
nature.
reason why that's your
I mean, it
favorite.
really is. It's just so calming because there's all the trees and the animals and like
Mhm.
little places to escape. Where I feel like the only other place like that is some places in Epcot I can find to hide, like back behind the UK is a fave. But there's not really, like, the rest of them are pretty open, and this one is very intimate. So it's my favorite park for that reason, not because of like
Well, that's
I want to
nice.
spend all my money to Disney Zoo.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Oh, well, now I feel like a jerk for saying that.
I told you the other day my favorite park is that for that reason, but I think the best park
the best
is Epcot.
park you think is Epcot.
Yeah. Just for like the combination of everything you'd go to a Disney park for, I think that they have gotten to the point that they have the perfect combo of everything because they do have amazing food. They now have the newest and some of the best rides. They brought some princess stuff in, so they're not solely
It's got
educational.
something for everybody.
But then they have all the educational stuff.
Yeah.
I think that it's a really good blend.
That is mine. I'm anxious to hear this last one.
So I don't taste a difference between Mickey ears in the park and Mickey ears that you can buy out of the park.
No, you're wrong.
I think they're identical.
You are wrong. They are not identical.
I think there's no difference.
I'm very passionate about this.
I know.
The flavors are richer in the park.
I know. I can't. I didn't say that they are the same. I can't taste the difference personally. I just don't have a really refined palate.
It's the years as a child that you did not eat them.
Maybe you just have like a nostalgia for them.
Oh, I do. I definitely do have a nostalgia for them.
I don't.
Yeah.
All right.
That really wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
I don't really have anything crazy. And if it was something I knew would actually break us up, I wouldn't tell you. So
I would just let my life be a lie.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't tell you on camera. We could have a conversation later.
Okay, we've got some really funny ones from you guys. So I took to my personal Instagram and the pod Instagram, and I left a little question bubble in the stories and said, give me your biggest Disney hot takes, and you guys did not disappoint. So these are like in no particular order according to like movie or whether I agree or not. This is literally just like I just scrolled through all the responses and typed them up. So this first one, it kills me. The biggest lie Disney princesses spread isn't true love or body image. It's when Mulan uses her sleeve to wipe off her makeup and it takes everything off. I agree. That's fair.
Yeah, that's probably up there.
I've never really
Top
thought
three
about
lies.
it like that, but when this one came through, I was rolling. I thought this was the funniest thing ever.
I was trying to think if there was any others, but I think that's it. I think they nailed it.
Yeah, I agree. The real heroes of Sleeping Beauty are the three fairies.
Wouldn't know.
I would say...
I don't think I've seen...
Really? You haven't seen Sleeping Beauty? You've seen Maleficent. You know the three fairies raise her in the cottage.
Allegedly.
What do you mean allegedly? That's what happens.
Okay. Vaguely, I remember.
Okay, well, I will say I completely agree with this, and it ties into what I was saying about Maleficent and why I was really disappointed with the live action of Maleficent because I wanted her to be pure evil, and I didn't like that she was redeemable. And I agree with this person because especially at the end of the Maleficent live action where it was her kiss that was true love and woke up Sleeping Beauty, I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, the good fairies, that should have been a good fairy moment. Like, they take this baby, raise her as their own, feed her, clothe her, protect her at all costs. I mean, when you think about it, they're better heroes to Aurora than even Prince Philip is.
I think that I don't believe that a villain should be true evil because I don't think that's realistic in real life.
No, it's not real life. It's fairy tales.
I know
That's why it works.
It's fairy tales, but I like that I like how nuanced Disney writes its characters. And I have found that the older I get, the more I relate to the villains because they were written as villains for children. And now I'm an adult and I'm like, I agree. Like, I don't have kids, but thinking about the Mother Knows Best song from Tangled. Like, you start to relate and you're like, I mean, at some point she's being a
You're
little
like,
selfish.
yeah, she did steal the baby, but like, she's also not wrong.
She's being selfish as she did some bad things, but also she's trying to protect
her. Yeah.
Rapunzel. And so she's like, hey, listen to me. Like, I've been out there. I know what's out there. That's nuanced. I mean, she's a bad character and she gets what she deserves in the end, but she's not purely evil. Everybody has something that is human in them.
It's true. Not wrong.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Okay, next. I liked this one. If Kristoff I just botched that. Let me try again. If Kristoff thinks Anna shouldn't be with Hans because they just met, then Kristoff shouldn't get with Anna because they also just met.
I think a lot of people rushing into stuff.
This is not wrong. I think if you want to get on a technicality here, he is worried that she's marrying someone that she just met. And with them, it's very different. Yeah, like with them, it's very different. Like, you know, I feel like it's definitely the more natural progression of things. That's like you meet someone, you are attracted to that person, you get to know them, you date them. Then eventually it will lead to, you know, a bigger commitment. But I do understand the point that you're making. I really do.
A lot of people sliding into those DMs in that film.
The next one, I love this person. We should be best friends because they said that Anastasia is the best Disney princess. I would say I agree a lot with that. Yes. Now that she's a Disney princess, she really is. Yeah. You watched it only once. So I feel like you might not feel as strongly as I do.
Sharpay is the best Disney princess. Sharpay Evans for princess.
This one. I can't stand The Nightmare Before Christmas. I know it's supposed to be a kid's movie, but it's actually creeps me out, and I'm 26. So much of it disturbs me, and I'd be perfectly fine if I never watched it again.
I mean, it's not for everybody.
Part of me kind of feels halvesies about this. Not the creeping me out part. It doesn't creep me out. It's Tim Burton, so I feel like if you're ever going to watch anything from him, that's a given.
Tim Burton does not make kids movies. Tim Burton makes adult animation.
True. I do agree with you on I don't get the super hype about Nightmare Before Christmas. I think Corpse Bride, if we're comparing like Halloween Tim Burton films, I would say The Corpse Bride is better to me, but
I think it hit a sweet spot because of when it came out. Because it was like the early ages of the internet.
Yeah,
and
true.
People who were our age that were like high schoolers at the time. It was, it's a dark and edgy thing as we're transitioning out of adolescence.
We're all in our emo phase.
We can see an animated film, but like it's a cool animated film.
Yeah, I get that.
So I think a lot of the community and like culture around it probably has to do with that. Just like when it hit for the people that are really into it. And then the reason that you see so much merch at the parks is because we're all able to buy things now, and Disney is marketing heavily to this generation.
It's true. I agree with that. I don't think it's a bad movie. It doesn't creep me out. Actually, let's get into this. Let's segue. Is it a Halloween or a Christmas movie?
It's not a Christmas movie.
It's a Halloween movie.
Yeah, it's not.
It is a Halloween movie. It is not a Christmas movie. I stand by that.
Unless you're emo. And then And then it's the perfect
Unless it
Christmas
truly
movie.
wasn't a phase for you, like it was for a majority of us.
You're like, that's my Sandy Claus.
um, this one shook me. I don't care for or about Marvel or Star Wars, and I wish Disney would stop putting so much focus on the things they buy to the detriment of the things that they have themselves created.
I mean, from a business perspective, they were purchased for a reason.
This person goes on to say, I'm still burned out on Frozen, but I'd rather be getting an Arendelle land than Star Wars land because it at least is Disney.
Yeah, but I would fight that just from a like business perspective because Star Wars has been around since the 70s, and so you've got multi-generational fans. Arendelle's been out for like 8 years or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think
10?
that
Is it 10 years that the first one came out?
it
I
might
want to
be.
say
I
it
was
was
in college.
2013.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Anyway, close to 10 years, if not.
So
And Paris is getting the Arendelle section.
yeah,
So like it does exist
for like
but...
a 2 movie thing that happened recently versus like I can't even count how many films and spin-off shows and books and content that's been created around Star Wars over the last 50 years now. I would put my money into Star Wars first, personally.
Yeah.
Like Frozen deserves its ride. Frozen deserves its like character appearances. Frozen does not need a land.
I don't agree with it just because I am a massive Star Wars fan and I am getting into the MCU. And I also agree with what you're saying, and I'll take it a little bit further, is that we could even use the Encanto example that I had. Like, I prefer Coco over Encanto, and I feel like Encanto is just the new Frozen as far as like hype around like little kids. And they want my money just as much as they want a mom who has a 3-year-old who loves Encanto. So of course they want to market to both of us. So I agree with you on that. Like, it is a way better business decision to offer both. And just because you are not vibing with the Marvel and the Star Wars stuff doesn't mean that there are not hordes of people who do.
The other thing is like they're not focusing on it to the detriment of other things. Like they just made a Frozen 2. Like they're investing they invest in the same amount of like quality like Disney princess and Disney like standard family fare. They're putting out just as much or more than ever. They're just also doing some other things too.
Yeah.
And so when they're looking at new and improved things to add, sometimes it's those like really popular spin-off things like, you know, the Frozen ride or the Ratatouille, and you know, like these things that are popping up over time. We get like little pieces of them in the parks, but then when you absorb an entire collection of work that's been created over 50 years, maybe it gets a land.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay.
Yeah. This one. Disney is making live actions because some people are insecure about watching animated movies.
Well, then they should make the live actions actually good.
Oh! I'm not a fan of the live action. I've said that multiple times this episode, but I don't agree with that.
Disney's making live actions to make more money from the original source material because people aren't buying those DVDs and VHS anymore.
Correct. And I mean, let's think about it. Like, one of the reasons why I don't really like the live action is because they're not they're unoriginal to me. But that's the whole reason to make the live actions. Like, they do not need to spend time like perfecting the storyline. They already have that. They already have the character development that they want. If anything, all they have to do is just piece together like original music, like the songs that they added to Beauty and the Beast to push the storyline further, or the feminist tones that they gave to Jasmine and Aladdin to push that storyline further, kind of make it a little bit more well-rounded. So I don't agree with this. The reason that they're making it is not because people our age are um insecure about watching animated movies, and I think that that point proves itself because you've got great ratings for Moana and like all these new animated movies that are very well received that don't have a live action probably won't for a while because they're very far along down the timeline of Disney animated films. Um, it's because that they're easy money.
Yeah, there's already an audience that knows the story and
Mm-hmm.
will watch it. Even if they hate it, they will watch it.
Little Mermaid. I'm gonna go watch that. I
And
don't have
and
high hopes, but I'm gonna go.
and personally, like, I'm not mad about the Beauty and the Beast one.
Mm.
Like, I think of all of them, that one I'm the most okay with
It's
because
definitely one of the stronger ones.
it
Yeah.
was like a recreation of their
And
original.
as much as I diss on Cinderella, Cinderella is probably one of the stronger ones as well.
But then, like the Jungle Book, they made beautiful animals with CGI, but
Jungle
they
Book.
took everything that was good about the Jungle Book out. Like
Yeah, the
there was
Jungle
no
Book
music, there was
so
no
bad.
there was no spark to it. So yeah, it was beautiful, but
Yeah.
like, what's the point?
Yeah. Perfect segue. This goes to my Lion King one, and I said somebody made a really good point, and I didn't want to take their thunder, but they said He Lives in You is the best song from the Lion King, and I completely agree. And that's a Lion King 2 song, and I would say that I like the music of 2 better than 1. This one made me giggle, and I really relate. Bambi was the start of my childhood trauma.
Bambi was awkward for me
I
because
would never let my kid watch Bambi.
I watched it with some adults. I was like at some event, like some get together of several families. I don't remember why I was there exactly, but I was little. It was one of the first ones that I saw. And so there was like all these men in the room that were like rooting for the hunters. So I'm like 3, and I'm like, this poor little innocent deer. And then these men are like, get the deer. And then like my family was poor and they hunted, and I would watch my dad, cut up the deer. And it was a very confusing thing for me because like we had to hunt to survive, but also Bambi was very sweet and innocent. So the start of trauma is a better way to word that.
Oh, I hated all of that.
Very vivid memory.
I cannot believe they were rooting. They were like, yeah, kill Bambi's mom.
They sure were. They were not great people.
I would never let my kid watch that movie. I'd be like, you have to be 40 years old before you're allowed to watch that movie. You're gonna laugh at this one. Turkey legs are disgusting. I agree. I hate them.
I'm neutral. I'll eat them if someone else is like gonna share. I'm not gonna eat one by myself.
They're the worst.
Oh, I have. I don't know if it's a hot take, but The Great Mouse Detective is the most terrifying film of all time, and that's another one I would never let a child watch.
I love that movie.
No, that dude is pure evil. Like that dude haunts my nightmares.
Really?
Terrifying. I watched it as an adult for the first time and said no.
Wait, no. You have to watch The Black Cauldron.
Okay.
Because that villain is way scarier. And I resent my mom a little bit for letting me watch that as a kid because he is scary. You're going to really agree with this one. Tangled is better than Frozen.
Tangled is better than Frozen. Tangled is not better than Frozen 2. There's just a little bit too much, like...
I would disagree. And I'm not disagreeing that Frozen 2 is better. I think Frozen is better than Tangled.
The thing that bugs me the most about Tangled, because I do love the story as a whole, is I really hate that he cuts her hair, because he takes the choice away from her. And he's like, I'm a man, I know better. And that's the one thing that like always sits weird for me, because like I love the rest of the film.
Have you ever noticed that when you like?
Yes, I know.
What?
I make the voice when.
Yeah, but have you ever noticed that the voice is like a big Southern lady? Think about it. Think about how you just said better.
Blanche Devereaux.
Literally.
Well, darling, I do know better.
I do declare.
I do declare that Tangled hits all the right notes for me, from like the comedy and the like just fun of a film, and kind of gives more control back to the princess than maybe some of the previous ones did, where like the men were doing the whole thing and they were like pushing the story along and things were just kind of happening to the women, like the Cinderellas and the Snow Whites and Sleeping Beauties and stuff like that. So I liked that they were able to tell the story in a way that did not seem, it didn't seem forced. Like some of the newer stuff sometimes feels like they're trying to be like feminist for the sake of feminism, which like it does not have to be the main plot point. Like you can make feminist stories without being like over on the nose on it, you know?
Yeah.
So I liked all of that about it, except that last moment, because she made her decision and it was an honorable decision, and he was like, nope, not gonna happen, and then he took the power away.
All right, this next one, it feels thought-provoking for me. Classic Disney films and stories felt more thought out, and now sometimes it feels like they rush storylines because they think it could be popular.
I don't know that it's because I think it'll be popular. I think it's just gotten cheaper to make things. So like before, if you were going to embark, like at the early days of the Disney company, if they were going to make a film, they were putting a crap ton of money and time into it, and it better be worth their while, because if it did not make money, they were out as a company. Like they were not going to be able to make the next one. And now they have the money, first of all, but also it's become a lot cheaper to do a lot of things, like computers instead of hand animation and all of that.
True.
So they're able to just like crunch stuff out and stay within
Quicker.
a certain budget, and it kind of becomes a volume thing. Like if we pump out 10 films versus one, there's a good chance one of them will hit.
It's okay if one falls flat.
So like if the other 9 don't work out, at least we got the one that hit, and that's the thing that we're going to spend all the time and do merchandising on and put in the parks and whatever. So I think that there's not as much need for every film to be perfect, and maybe things do get made quicker than they should, or there's not as much time developed to like story development.
Yeah, I agree with that. This one, Monsters Inc. is better than Toy Story. I think I kind of agree. I would watch Monsters Inc. before I'd watch Toy Story.
I can't get behind it.
You have a very soft spot for Toy Story, though.
I can't get behind it. Toy Story, for me, objectively maybe a better film, I don't know. But for me, I would always pick Toy Story over Monsters, Inc.
That's just how the cookie crumbles. This one is not a hot take, and if you think it's a hot take, then we can't be friends. Carousel of Progress is the best ride at Disney. Like, yes, I thought that was obvious. Carousel of Progress and People Mover are the superior rides.
Yeah, I mean, depends what you mean by ride. Like, best attraction experience? Sure. Like, most thrilling ride? That's a different category.
Yeah,
so,
that's
like,
true.
yeah, if you're looking for amusement park attraction, like, crazy things. But if you're looking for art, definitely the most artfully designed.
I think this person thought that, like, there are people out there who hate Carousel of Progress.
I mean, there obviously are people that don't care about it because the line's never more than 5 minutes.
I guess that's true.
So I think there's just a lot of people that
are
are
wrong.
But it's twofold for me. It's an artful experience and really unique and cool, but also you get to sit for 20 minutes. And it's rare to get to sit for 20 minutes in the parks.
In the AC too.
In the AC. So if you see me, it will be there. If I am at the parks, I am sitting on the People Mover or I am sitting in the Carousel of Progress.
This one, when I got it, made me audibly laugh. Like, truly audibly laugh. It still does. It's so good. They could demolish all of Frontierland today and I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
I agree.
As someone who
honestly,
is pretty obsessed with the Wild West and Westworld is a fave, it doesn't do it for me. It's just kind of like a walk through to somewhere else. It's not a destination.
Yeah, honestly, it's let's go there to ride Big Thunder and then immediately leave.
Yeah. Yeah. So something's missing.
Yeah. I would not be upset if they tore it down tomorrow either.
And they don't even have any content there. Like the other lands are tied to like very specific stories. But that one's just like, also the Wild West was here once.
Yeah, I think this person made the point too of like, who needs a shooting range at Disney in 2023?
Yeah, we need to shut that down.
So.
Yeah, that's a no from me.
This one, instantly yes. The Epcot. The Africa Pavilion in Epcot is a waste of space. Yes, 1000%.
There's nothing there.
No, there isn't. And I would say calling it a pavilion is not even accurate.
It's not fair to Africa, first of all. But
and also they have such a huge section in Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
So like let that live in Animal Kingdom, and like they do it so much better there, and they have so much more real estate there to give that like, no, I don't want to say authentic African experience, but like to introduce people to the African culture and food. And
Morocco is a pavilion, right?
Yes.
So we have Africa represented.
Yes.
And then we walk through a place that is a continent.
Yes.
And yep.
That's all I gotta say about that.
Just leave it there. All right. What else you got?
Last one, and it's a great one to end off. Harmonious is the best show at Epcot, and it is the best show it's had in a while, and they better give us something great after taking it away so soon.
They better bring it back.
Correct. That's what I say. I know I'm holding on to a false hope, and it probably won't happen this way, but I'm hoping after the 100th show like has its time that they pull a happily ever after and give us Harmonious. Yes, it is the best show, and I loved Illuminations, but I like it better than Illuminations, and it needs more time. And let's just think about the like wastefulness in general of only allowing Harmonious to run as long as it has, because how much money do you think they spent on literally all of those like fixtures in the lagoon?
Mm-hmm.
Like the fountains is what I'm talking about. You're gonna pay so much money to build those, to design those, to operate those, and it's only gonna run for as long as it did?
I think they're gonna use the same thing for the next show.
You think?
I think that they built that long term to be more customizable to each next show.
Interesting.
That's my gut feeling.
Interesting.
Because, and I've said this before, but like the art that used to be on the bridge when you were walking to Paris, that showed like, this is what it's gonna look like someday. It's fountains during the day. It's supposed to, that was always the artist's picture for it. So the fact that it just stays there in metal all day long and doesn't do anything makes me think it's not, like, it's still not complete. Like it's still, there's still more to come.
I'll be right. That would be fun. That'd be good. Well, that was your hot takes. I feel like there wasn't really any like insanely spicy one.
No. But I mean, there's probably going to be someone listening who thought that.
Who will be very offended, yes.
Let us know all the things you were offended about. Leave comments.
Yeah. Let us know which ones like you totally agreed with, totally disagreed with. I thought this would be funny because, like I said, I put that one comment on TikTok about Splash Mountain, and I had people like telling me we couldn't be friends anymore. So, let me know what you think, and be sure that you're following us on Instagram, TikTok, all that fun stuff. Actually, don't follow the TikTok because I haven't had time to do anything with it. But definitely Instagram, YouTube, anywhere that you get your podcasts. And especially if you want to be
basic of the month.
Yes, especially if you want to be basic of the month. That is how I source all of the basic of the months and put them in a randomizer and choose every month. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next month. So I hope February is a great month for you, and we will see you in March.
Bye.
Bye. Well, that's it for today's episode, Magical Basics. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to give us a follow and let us know what you thought of it. All of our links are in the show notes and description box down below. If you liked today's episode, please give us a rate and review, and don't forget to include your Instagram handle to be featured as our Basic of the Week. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We upload new episodes on Wednesdays and other videos on More Magic Mondays. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. So until then, Basics, stay magical.